morning, good afternoon, and good night. Welcome back.
Hi, this is Laverne Jones for Virgin Islands 4-time Olympian and 6th fastest female in the 60-meter history. Tune in to VIOC in action to learn about athletes and what motivates us. Remember, teamwork make the dream work.
Hi, this is Cy Thompson, laser sailor for Team ISV, and you're listening to VIOC in action.
This is your high hurdle specialist, Eddie Lovett, for Team VI, and you're tuned in to VIOC in action.
Alrighty, good day and welcome to VIOC in action. This is your host, Neil Bobby Thomas. And we're going to have a great show for you here today as you're tuned into the Virgin Islands Olympic Committee informational radio show where you can learn all about our athletes, our member federations, and every information about the VIOC you need to know and ways that you can step up and support. You know, this has been trying times around the globe and we're trying to make our way back to normalcy, and we want you to come and help us get back to a little sense of normalcy here as well. This is going to be a great show as we have an in-house 1 and 2 in-house guests for you today. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to allow our guests to go ahead and introduce themselves. Gentlemen, step up to the microphone and let us know who you are and what you are representing.
Hey, good afternoon, Virgin Islands. This is Elroy Hill, the new former president of the Virgin Islands Softball Federation.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Emerito Torres, Vice President of the Softball Federation of the Virgin Islands.
So softball in the house, and this is a great thing because you know softball is alive and kicking. Softball is actually the lab rat sport for the Department of Education as they are experimenting in ways to bring back safe and positive activities for our students. And currently, the weekend of April 17th is the inaugural Eugene Genix Thomas softball tournament over here on St. Croix at the DC Cannegator Ballpark. And I know it must be a thrill for the Softball Federation to see the young ladies taking part in going on in all that's happening. So I know you've been present at the games, not just watching, but deeply involved. Tell us how you are involved in many ways with this tournament.
Okay, I've been the chief umpire from Thursday night we had games, Friday we had games, and today we have 4 more games. The games have been going pretty good. Even though St. Thomas have won all the games, but the games have been good games. And it's nice to see the young ladies back on the field and getting prepped. And, you know, as we know, the state side, they are open, and we are a little bit behind because we have been sitting down over a whole year. So it's nice to see get it back out there, thanks to education and the Department of Sports, Park and Recreation to getting that going. So today we should have another 4 good games again today.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell us your role so far.
Well, Mr. Brown, good morning. And good morning to all the softball players, fans of the Virgin Islands. And my role is to work together with Mr. Wanka, like we call him, to scout and try to help our young ladies here in the Virgin Islands, not only to play the sport, but to also have an opportunity to go to college, to be recruited by a college in the mainland. And that's our role. Our role is, like I said, not only to play the game, but to take them to a level where the game and themselves could be recruited to a university.
And a lot of the young ladies probably have no idea, are not at all even thinking about being scouted, being recruited. They are just there to have a good time and play ball. And I think it's our responsibility here as the adults who know the possibilities and the opportunities that lie within the game to let the young ladies know that, hey, this may be a game now, but it could serve as a catalyst to help you move forward in life. You could make great contacts. You could make great friends. You could make teams and travel around the globe to participate. As we know, softball is growing as a global sport. For a very, very long time, it's always been tagged as a Western sport. But with teams like Japan, countries like Japan who are deeply ingrained into baseball and softball, they're getting great recognition there and great opportunities. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, for the Tokyo 2020 games, which will take place this year, softball was added back to the list.
Softball is there now.
Yeah. And how do you feel as the president of the federation getting that kind of recognition for the Olympics?
Well, I mean, it's we would like to see us, the Virgin Islands, at that kind of level we used to have before, because we have been there before. We have backed off a lot since, but we got to push this game back forward. Not just the young ladies. I'm not going to forget about the young men, but right now we're trying to work on getting our young ladies in school, and that's how you recruit to get your national team or whatever that level. So I definitely want to see us push towards getting to that top level at the Olympic Games, which is really good to see back in the Olympics.
In the Olympics, yeah, and that's the goal. The goal is not just to have participation, but you want to be recognized internationally. The community of softball, as you mentioned, the Virgin Islands was one time not only recognized, but they were respected and in some cases feared as a competitor when they got on the fields. And over the years, the drive for young people to play sports for ridiculous hours in the hot sun, that has just faded away. Now we have young people who are almost afraid of getting active, and it's great to see that we're starting here in the junior varsity and varsity level with the schools for this tournament. But I think the mission should be starting earlier, because I know in other places they start very early, correct?
Yes. If you look at Puerto Rico, our neighbors, they start from a really young age, I think of 5 years old, and they continue all until they get into level to the level of high school, college, and the national team. Looking at our girls, like we've been to the field a few times, we've been looking at some videos. We have the talent here. We also would like to thank all those coaches and those volunteers who take their time to work with these girls. But yes, we all agree that we need to do more. We need to do more to accomplish our dream, because we would like to see our team again back there at that level.
That's right, and it definitely is a dream for not only the president of the federation, but all of the fans of fastball in the Virgin Islands to see the Virgin Islands team return to a greater level of prominence. With that, we'll take our first break here on VIOC in Action, and we'll be right back.
This is Mr. One Time for the One Time, Leon Hunt, long jump record holder for Team VI.
Thank you for logging on to VIOC in action.
Hi, this is Tim Pitts, 2004 Olympic sailor for the Virgin Islands, sailing the laser class on VIOC in action.
Hey, this is Katie Tambaum, skeleton racer for Team ISV, and you are listening to VIOC in action.
All right, well, welcome back to the show, VIOC in action. Here we have in studio guests with us today, Mr. Torres and Mr. Hill, representing the Virgin Islands Softball Federation. And as we mentioned, softball used to be, huge, big sport in the Virgin Islands. You've had people that have traveled all over the place. And I remember the days when I was a kid that the guys from St. John, when they traveled to Canada, the Canadians look forward to that because that was major competition. We had legends from the St. John team that I remember maybe 10 years ago. There was a tournament and a guy came out of retirement. I think his name was Henley. Bert. Is it Bert Henley?
Yeah, Bertie. That was in Tortola.
No, but we did a tournament in St. John. And he pitched, just came out. Haven't pitched in years. And had a magic rise ball. He could throw it. It started off 6 inches off the ground and it would just disappear over your head. Wonderful. And, we're hoping, I know people like me, I don't know about you, I know I'm hoping to see a resurgence in interest, more than anything else, interest in the game, because with interest, we can then lure others into the game, and we have to start young. And one of the things that we could point towards as a goal is to not only have the baseball, Little League Baseball, which is basically designed for boys. It's open. Anyone can play, as every year we've had young ladies play and played very well in baseball. But there's an entire division of Little League softball geared towards young ladies that we are not tapping into. Do you think at some point we could have a kind of a drive where we could actually establish a Little League softball division for the girls in the Virgin Islands to start playing?
Well, that's one of the things the Federation is going to be looking into, because we're going to be working closely with IAA, education, sports park and rec, and even the community leagues. Even Little League, I spoke with Neville Amy about this already. So that's one of the things that the Federation is going to be trying to push to get it. We go in from the younger age, because I've seen it. I've seen the younger kids stateside doing it. I've seen it in Puerto Rico doing it. So if we could start at that age, we would be able to, by the time we get to junior high, we'll be having scouts coming here looking at them children from early age. I have a friend of mine from the University of North Carolina, the head coach, Donna. And the rules in college have changed a little bit. Now, they could start recruiting at least from 6th grade. So you're talking about a big D1 school looking at players from 6th grade until they become seniors.
And that's very unique, because for the sports, the Division I NCAA period, for most of the other sports, if a scout or a coach speaks to you unofficially prior to your senior year,
but you remember now, there's a certain time of the year they could only do that at some
right. But it's normally reserved for seniors. But now you're talking advancing it 6 years earlier. That's great.
You're talking about players at that age being looked at from Duke University, UNC, those big schools.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're looking at actually when they get in being a senior, they actually know basically where they're going to school.
Exactly. And
So
parents, this is how this benefits you. This is why you as a parent should be excited, motivated, and heavily encouraging your young athletic daughter to getting to play in fast pitch softball. This is why. The number of opportunities for college scholarships for young females by far is more plentiful in the sport of softball than any other sport. By far.
Yeah. And you're talking about starting from junior college.
Correct. We're talking about they being able to get great education at no cost to your pocketbooks because they have been playing a sport, you know. So as for parents, we want to encourage you to not only take your child to play, but have them find that interest to where it could benefit them in the long run. And you know, as Mr. Hill mentioned, this is some contacts that he has established for, you know, the 1 or 2 years that he's been around the game. So I don't think you've presented your resume as to your involvement in softball. For the next couple seconds, tell us about what all you have experienced, participated in, whatever you can remember in softball that the federation decided they will select you to be the president for the Virgin Islands Softball Federation.
From back in school in St. John, back then we had softball.
Right, there was no baseball for the boys. So the boys had to play fast pitch softball as well.
Okay. So my first major experience was when I was in 9th grade going to Canada with the ambassadors. Major. It was like that's what actually opened my eyes to. This was softball. I have never changed since. So we have done, and you have been there.
Yep.
Take teams up to the AAU tournament in Orlando. We have been back to Canada. We have, and we have in Tartola, in St. Thomas, in St. Croix, we had tough leagues before. You know what I'm saying? And that's not just the men. That's just male and female. It was competitive on both sides.
So let me broaden the scope for our listeners. Mr. Hill is a modest gentleman, and he won't tell you about his participation and contact. He's a threat at the bat for sure. He's definitely a wicked athlete, and he plays a mean softball. But in his involvement and love for the game, we branched out. As he said, from a very young age, he was traveling playing softball. So as an adult, he decided, hey, let's keep these travel groups active and let's play some ball. And he has mentioned the AAU. That is the American Athletic Union, I believe, right? Yes. And that is, they hold tournaments year round all over the nation. We've participated for many years at the AAU Nationals, which is it's held, I believe, on Disneyland in one of their facilities, right? Yeah, Disney Wildwater Sports Complex. So you get there and you're thinking, well, we're just a bunch of guys from the Virgin Islands, so we're going to see a heap of neighborhood teams. So why am I at third base and the uniform for the next team has Team USA emblazoned on the front? I'm like, what? Yeah. What is going on here? I didn't know this is the level of competition we're playing. So this is what you see, right? So not only do you play against those guys, you form fantastic relationships. So I didn't know Elroy Hill knew all of these guys. He walks over, Warren, what's good, man? Him and Warren strike up a conversation, Next thing you know, over a couple of dinners, watching some game, the decision was made. We are going to bring at that time, it was the ambassadors.
No, that was the ambassadors? No,
it wasn't the Marlins.
No. It was it was actually the ambassadors, but we just formed it was a new name.
Right.
St. John's Sporting Center, Inc. Right? It was the VI Eagles.
The Eagles, that's right.
Okay, and we decided to bring Team USA and Team Canada.
Well, the invitation went to Team USA first. He was like, sure, you know what? Let me see if I could get the guy from Canada. And he reached out. Bill, how you doing? Great. Hey, we're planning to go to the Virgin Islands and, Memorial Day weekend next year. Can you make it? Let me check my schedule. Yeah, things look good. We'll be there. And that was it. Next thing you know, we have playing fast pitch softball in St. Thomas. Team USA and Team Canada. So that's how I was referring to how tight this softball community is. They are, you wouldn't believe that they are competitors on the field. Off the field, they're best friends. Let's go have a beer. Let's speak about how we can develop this game a lot more, you know? And that's what I want for our people to understand, that once you get involved in this game, it's a global reach. Global reach.
It's amazing you're saying that because Hill and I relationship started that way.
Yeah.
St. John came to play against Expos back in the days with Senator Frankie Johnson, Ira Hodge from St. Thomas, Pedro Cruz, all the national players, Benjamin Legrand. I was blessed to be part of the team and to meet Hill that day. Of course, St. Christ beat them, but we still friends.
And, you know, and that's the thing. You know, we may laugh and say we're still friends, but it builds lifelong friendship. And we could talk about Team USA, we could talk about Team Canada. That's sticking in North America. But I know Mr. Hill has a dear friend. I mean, he can call this guy the drop of a hat any hour of the day, and he will respond. And this young man is from New Zealand.
Yes.
Paul Alga was at one point rated across planet Earth as the #1 pitcher in the world, right? So we know Paul Alga. So when I saw the guy walked into the facility, started talking to Hill, I'm like, what? This guy knows Paul Alga? And he gets in there and puts on one of our jerseys. So he's playing with our team too. So it's just amazing. And this is what we want to provide for the young athletes that are participating in this tournament that's going on.
That was like 15 years ago.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay. And he will be coming here.
Paul Alga?
Alga will be coming we'll be working with our kids then with our pitching.
Oh, so we have Paul Alga is going to give instruction?
He's going to be on Ireland, he's going to be on St. Croix and St. Thomas. He should have been here already, but because of the COVID.
Correct.
And was back in New Zealand, he got stuck down there. So he, as soon as everything is clear up now that the health department and give us a little bit of okay to start moving around in the ballparks and stuff like that. So we're going to have him coming here he's going to be here for a while.
Now, if you want to start from the ground up and develop fast pitch softball teams, the ideal place to start is with pitching. So if we have Paul Alga and he gets here and is able to get these young ladies and say, listen, we are going to have basic instruction. If he sticks around and allows for these young ladies to develop just the basics, that is the absolute ultimate foundation needed.
Well, that's our goal. That's our goal is to get as much pitching, because that's pitching and catching is the two positions that the college scouts look for first.
That's right. That's right.
But those are the two hardest positions that to get into for any team is pitching and catching. And if you could develop good pitching and good catching here, those are two positions I know that we could get scholarships and stuff for.
Excellent.
Our thing.
Yes, and also in our plans are to showcase our players in the mainland. Also, we had conversations already with some showcase, how you call it, groups to bring the universities and have a tournament here in the Virgin Islands. So that would motivate our young talent girls and boys in softball to understand there is something else more than softball. You could, like you said at the beginning, you could prepare your career and get a free career through sports.
That's right.
And when the president spoke to me, he told me my main goal is to have this girl be recruited to college. Emerito, my job is for them to have quality education through the sport. And I said, hey, I'm in. Yep. And I can see it in him. He already brought one of the, how you call it?
The head coaches?
One of the head coaches from the mainland here. And he saw he saw our girls practicing, just some of them. And he liked what he saw and how talented they are, the arm that they have, how they're built. And they like that. So if we could continue, we could start working from, like I said, from Little League up, we would do a lot better.
Yeah, and it's a complete system that's needed. Mr. Hill mentioned earlier that he not only wants to be able, through his role as the federation president, but he has his arms wide open, ready to embrace all the entities involved, and all the entities, as mentioned, all of the city leagues, all of the little leagues that are organized by individuals. We want you to be part of this. The schools, right now, the Virgin Islands Department of Education, with their initiative to kick off this tournament honoring the legend Eugene Genix Thomas with a softball tournament. Talk about, just appropriate. They, on the island of St. Croix, I know of no one else that put in more time and dedication, commitment to the sport of softball, and to help serve as a amazing role model for all of the young ladies that he groomed into the game. Mr. Eugene Genix Thomas. You talk about softball in St. Croix and you do not mention Genix, you know nothing about softball in St. Croix. So you got the city leagues, the Department of Education now, they're putting their hand and trying to get things going. You definitely are going to have the other organized leagues where you're going to have from the, not tournaments like this, but the school leagues. You're going to have those. And like we said, we're going to reach out. As you've already reached out to the president of one of the leagues on St. Thomas to try to incorporate. And our goal is to actually have a division of young ladies playing fast pitch softball. And that is going to show that the Virgin Islands is very serious about moving the sport forward.
Yes, another thing that yes, we understand. We need the energy. We need the enthusiasm of the players, of the girls, but also the parents.
For sure,
we need the support of the parents, because as little leaguers, kids doesn't drive. So we need the support of the parents. It's really important that we have that support,
right?
And to support the league, support the department, and all of us working together, we will put the Virgin Island back where it was, even better.
Yeah,
and we need to work hard. We need to work hard as a Virgin Islander to represent that flag, because I'm a born Crucian Virgin Islander, and when we put that flag in and that name Virgin Island, we will represent with pride.
That's for sure.
Okay.
And let me say, it's not as easy, because we got, as you guys will say on 107.9, we have 4 islands, but is
separated by
water, right? So when you're bringing in people to do clinics and dealing with coaches in St. Thomas, St. John, coaches in St. Croix, you got, with a federation like this, you got to be able to be moving around. That's where you need the parents.
Yeah.
That's where you need the parents.
And the parents should really understand, because it's much. I can't express how much easier it is for the children on the mainland.
Mm-hmm.
Their parents have no problem jumping in a car in one weekend. They're probably going to put in 300 miles in their car, no problem, because they will not play one game. They will play a series of games in different locations in every weekend. Every single weekend. It's going to cost the parents, but the parents know in the end, this is an opportunity for their child to get a full education to one of the Division I schools, maybe, if not even one of the Ivy League schools. And, because all of the universities understand the benefit of a healthy athletics program. Mm-hmm. We discovered that going through this pandemic now, where you saw, the students, they could do the classes online, but the universities wanted to get those games active again, because that is the value. The value for most of those major universities, they lie deep within their sports program, and the softball sports program it's no less important to the universities. I mean, if you have one of those extended sports packages for like ESPN, or you may have the ACC network or the SEC network, you could sit at home and watch the games live across the nation. Across the
even,
nation.
Even ESPN are bringing the games, some of the games.
Correct. For sure. You know, ESPN is a big supporter of sport, and they too recognize that they have to be able to understand that they need to put that information out. And that's why ESPN is saying, listen, this is the format. We know you are playing. We know how important your participation is. So ESPN is recognizing you. We want you to be part of the action. You know, so it's great. So what plans do you have, immediate and maybe long term, directly for the federation in getting it rolling and putting things in place?
Well, number one is we're working on getting the clinic put together, and we're trying right now to get some of the seniors to be looked at on a showcase, hopefully in July.
Okay,
we're working on that. Because at the end of the day, we had a whole year, I must say whole year and a half
doing nothing. Yeah.
So we, and as I say, stateside's being open and they're being playing. And so we are a little step behind. So, but we got to push a little bit harder.
Right.
You know.
One thing I would love to happen at some point, maybe down the road, we could start planning for it. When things are more normalized and the travel is easier, and you know, in-person viewing of sports is back as a thing again, I would love to see some of the girls exposed to that level of competition. Not only to leave St. Thomas and go to a university and watch the university level play, but I would like to see them go to where is the World Series for college? Is it Oklahoma for softball?
Oklahoma.
I would love to see a contingent of girls from the Virgin Islands sitting in the stands watching that high level of fastball. I would love, they would, I mean, on TV, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. So imagine if we take some girls and we put them in the stands, how exciting it would be for them. So that's the kind of exposure I would like them to have.
The Federation is working on something major here. And hope,
you have to hold it close. You can't give us the details as yet. Okay,
but it's going to benefit everybody.
Excellent.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to benefit everybody.
Excellent.
You know?
So who are the I know you're the president. We have you, Mr. Hill, the president, Mr. Torres, the vice president. Who else is on the federation?
Frank Thomas, the vice president for St. Thomas St. John district.
Okay.
And we have the director is Jose Tony Rosario. We have the secretary, which is Sherry and Francis.
Okay.
The treasurer, which is Elvis Lewis. And then we have our public relation person, which is Lorena Roberts.
Excellent.
You know, and then we have our statistician is Pat Smith.
See, and those are all names that are very familiar to me because they've all been around the sport so long, you know. So it's great to have a team that is committed. I know all of those names you mentioned. They've been involved. They want to make sure that not only we get the children growing, but, you know, we get them and keep them involved. You know, I'll be honest. For me, it's a little bit selfish why I stay involved and try to encourage people to play. Because I know one day I won't be able to take my old bones out there and play. But I want to take my old bones and sit in the stands and watch some good games. So I know for me, it's really selfish and personal because I just love the game that much. It's to me, it's far. It's. I even like playing fast pitch softball better than I like playing baseball.
I would say
It is, to me, it is more exciting. It is fast paced. It is a lot quicker. It's, you know, I love the game. I love it. So I'm hoping that we could really motivate some young ladies to come out there and play. And you know what? I'm gonna sit here right now, and I'm gonna put the money where my mouth is. Right. I am going to commit to forming a team. I am going to have a team. I already have the name picked out. I'm going to go ahead and just, I'm going to commit. So when you have a league, I don't have any players yet. You know, this is something that just came up. I am going to go back to St. Thomas and I'm going to form team. Right? So that's my commitment. So when you have a league in the St. Thomas St. John district, I will have a team.
Good. And another thing we're trying to do here too is those qualifying tournaments that we continually going out representing the Virgin Islands and stuff like that, we need to start hosting some of those tournaments.
Oh, yes. Yes.
You know, and I know I've heard Chico Morales talk about it, about instead of continually, because we've been going. Our people here need to see
the high level of competition.
The high level of the competition here.
Yep.
You know, and that's one of our main goals is to do that.
Yeah, and I know you have to wear two hats in trying to get that done, because not only as a federation president, but also as an employee of the Department of Sports, Parks and Recreation, you have to ensure that the facilities are up to snuff. Because I can tell you, most of these nations, these countries, they value their athletes, and those athletes are only going to play on the best facilities possible.
Like I said, that's our goal.
Right.
You know, that's our goal is to just before the COVID, actually, we were supposed to take a team down to Curacao as a qualifying tournament to with the English-speaking countries, and it was a qualifier tournament for the CAC Games and the Pan American Games. So you won that tournament, you automatically get a bid to the
CAC and Pan Am.
Games. You know what I'm saying? So those are tournaments. Curacao hosts a lot of tournaments. If Curacao could host those tournaments, we could host a tournament there.
Yeah, I'm sure they've invested in the infrastructure over the years, because I remember the days when Curacao barely played any kind of baseball or softball, and now they're seeing the benefits of it, including hosting tournaments. So with that, we'll take and move into our second break. We'll be right back to VIOC in action with the president of the Softball Federation, Mr. Hill, and the vice president, Mr. Torres. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Peter Holmberg, silver medalist for the Virgin Islands in 1988, and you're listening to VIOC in action.
This is Dr. Jerry Smith, physical therapist with the VI Olympic Committee. To unleash the elite athlete in you, the key ingredients are good nutrition, hard work, and dedication. Give yourself what you need to get in and stay in the game. Tune into VIOC in action for tips and fun activities to unleash the elite athlete in you.
Hey, this is Sydney Paul, member of the Virgin Islands National Bowling Team, and you're listening to VIOC in action.
Hi, this is Adrian Durant, coach for the VI National Track and Field Team. Set your goals and work hard to achieve them. Believe in yourself, and anything is possible. Tune into VIOC in action to learn how you can take your game to the next level. And remember, if it's to be, it's up to me.
All right, we're back here at VIOC in action, and this is the VI Softball Federation edition, as we have the president of the Softball Federation, Mr. Hill, and Vice President representing St. Croix, Mr. Torres. So, you know, in I think it was 2009, either 2009 or 2008, when you brought Team USA and Team...
10.
Was it 10? It couldn't have been 10. It definitely wasn't 10. Because I was deployed for 2010, so it was 9, yeah.
Yeah, because it had been 10 years
right.
last year when we were trying to do it again
right.
last year, but we had the hurricane.
Right, okay, because 2010 I was deployed, and I know I was there for the tournament.
And they were actually supposed to do it in St. Croix, but we had the hurricane, so that we had to.
Right. So one thing I noticed is that when all of the players were coming in different flights, they're coming from American, and you know the guys are like walking around and they're just talking to each other. And I said, well, like, how long you know this guy? He said, I just met him. You know, because remember, this is Team USA. They're taking the best of the best from across the United States to make a team. So their practices, that's when they get fall in line with the coaching techniques, the different signs, different signals. They learn that in those short periods of opportunity when they're together. And it's pretty much the same for the Virgin Islands national team, because it will not be just made of players who are residing here in the Virgin Islands, correct?
Nope. Yep. That's true. Right now that's where we have Lorena too, because she's good in what she does. And we are out there.
Explain what Lorena does, because she's
our public relation officer.
Right, and she also is connected with Livewire Sports, and Livewire is one of those entities that is out there seeking information on Virgin Island student athletes wherever they are, high school, college, or wherever. Livewire tries to keep track of them and just let the community aware of what they're doing.
Even talking about that, I was looking at Livewire a couple of nights back, when it was last week, and I saw Brenda Rodriguez.
Yes.
Yard with
Yes, she did, yes.
I see Maya Jack dragging the bunt and doing all the stuff.
Correct.
Those are players that we got out there.
Yes, we have really good talent in college in the mainland, and who graduated also.
That's right.
But when Mr. Hilda sent me those videos, I said, "Oh my God, yeah, she's a Virgin Islander too." So
yeah, and that's the thing. You have to look far and wide for every available talent to represent the team.
Yeah, but you got to get what we got here. The young ones,
grow them,
here,
prepare them
to get them into school, just like the others are in school, and that's what we do. And that's what Team USA does. I talk to Warren Jones all the time. That's my boy.
Yep.
And he tells every time a tournament is coming up,
he's there.
He's there. They pick the 30, 35 girls from different schools.
Yep.
And they go and they.
And that's how it works. And we want to stress on the importance of starting now, starting young, because the teams are not developed overnight. As mentioned, the universities are now allowed to recruit young student athletes in sixth grade. That's middle school in most places in the country. Sixth grade, and that's still elementary school for certain places. So if they're being able to be recruited in sixth grade, guess what? They've had to been playing many years before that, So yeah, so that's why we're encouraging parents. Please, that young lady you have sitting in the house, right after you show her how to be that wonderful individual and you're grooming her and you teach her how to make, a nice boiled fish or some fungi or stew down the food, right? And you say, okay, when you're done stew that pot, we're going down. You get practice in a little while. Because we do want them to remain academically viable, because I'll tell you one thing, no matter how great you are as an athlete, if your academics are not up to snuff, the universities don't play that. Because if you've heard me mention it more than once during the show, I say student athletes, because the universities, the high schools, first and foremost, they want an intelligent, knowledgeable, well-rounded individual to play sports, not just a machine on the field playing sports. So your academics as well are important.
Yeah, and it's very important that from the time you get into ninth grade, you start looking at your ACTs and your SATs and take it in ninth grade. I had my daughter take it in 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah, for rehearsal, you got to prep yourself.
Yeah, so I encourage all the young ladies I see and I talk to is to go ahead and get them things done early as possible.
Yeah, and especially with academics, we take it for granted that the ones who are excelling, they are just naturally smart and they excel. But if you don't know, when they have an opportunity, they're studying, they're rehearsing, they're practicing, getting ready for the test. And you'll be amazed, some of the top learners, some of the best students have tutors, because they are pushing themselves. They're not sitting and just taking what's there. They are pushing themselves.
Some of those athletes have personal trainers.
Personal coaches.
Paul have done that so many times.
Yeah, and that's what we want. We want each child, each parent, each family, each school, each team to invest in these young ladies. Be there for them. Encourage them. Let them know it's not always going to be easy. And anything, absolutely anything you are trying to achieve in life, it will not be easy if it is worth having. If it is worth attaining, it will not be easy. And you'll be amazed. Sometimes you'll be working so hard, you're so tired. You say, I can't, that's it. And then boom, you find this burst of energy and you're ready to go for another couple hours. So we want everyone to dig deep and try to get involved. Now,